Hi. Welcome to Movies Reflexed. Today, I am going to show you a 2019 horror sci-fi movie titled Color Out of Space. Watch out for spoilers. Take care. A girl named Lavinia is shown at the beginning of the movie. She was performing a ritual. She was repeating a line again and again. That, my mother may heal soon, and we may go and leave this region. Actually, Lavinia's mother was suffering from cancer. Suddenly, someone calls her. When she turns back to check, then, an unknown person comes to her. Lavinia tells him, this is a secret area and others are prohibited. That man's name was Ward. But, Lavinia begins to leave from there. Then, Ward stops her and gives her his visiting card. After it, Lavinia returns to her house. As she returns home, her father scolds her for not using the helmet. After this, Lavinia goes to the poultry house where his brother was smoking. Seeing him like this, she gets angry and leaves from that place. Coming outside, she sees her younger brother standing near a well. When she gets to him then, he says, grandfather used to say that stars fall into this well. Then, Lavinia tells him, these are useless talks. She asks him, why did you even came here? Then he says, father has asked me to bring water from here. Hearing it, she says, oh my God. My father never listens to me. I have told him so many times that we should use mineral water, not the water of this well. Then, that family is seen at the dining table. Their father had cooked a duck for them. Observing it, everybody gives a bad impression. Because nobody liked this dish. After it, Lavinia's mother is shown. She is a stockbroker and she was dealing with her customer at that time. After it, her husband calls her to take meal. At that time, Lavinia's mother was looking angry. She says, the internet is not working properly. Kindly do something about it. Otherwise, my clients will leave me. After this, Lavinia's younger brother is shown. He was looking for something. All on a sudden, a pink light begins to shine. Seeing it, he is frightened. He begins to shout. Hearing his voice, all rush outside. They notice a pink meteor in their lawn. It was emitting pink light. There was also a very disgusting smell coming from that meteor. After this, they bring him inside. Now, Lavinia's mother says, we should take him to a hospital immediately. Because he is not looking right. Hearing it, her husband says, no, he is just scared and the hospital is at a very far distance. I think he needs some rest. He will be alright in a moment. Next day, the police arrives at their house. And Lavinia's father tells them about the last night's event. He tells them this meteor was emitting pink light at that night. And now, there is only smoke. Ward had also reached there. Lavinia introduces him to her father. Ward is a hydrologist by profession. Police asks him, what can you say about this? Ward says on it, perhaps it is a fallen star. After it, Lavinia's father shows his animals to Ward. And he also says, they have started to be ill nowadays. Then Ward asks, is there someone else living in this area? Actually, I want to examine the water of this whole region. I am going to stay here for a few days. Then, he tells him to go to an old man. He lives at a distance from here. Then, Lavinia's brother leads him there. Ward notices cameras and mics here. Then, Lavinia's brother says, that old man was in fact an electrician. That's why he used these. After this, they move to the house of that old man. That old man asks Ward, are you a hydrologist? Then, Ward is astonished and asks, how did you know about this? That old man says, I keep all the news of this area. Lavinia's brother says, the water of this place is looking mysterious. So, he doesn't drink the water from there. Ward says, I will send the sample of water of this place to the laboratory. It starts raining in there. Lavinia is shown. She was taking a shower in the rain. It is seen that meteor is attracting lighting. Then Lavinia expresses, what beautiful sight it is. Then Lavinia's father comes here. He observes how that meteor is attracting the lighting from the sky. Then, Ward is seen measuring the pH of the water. Next morning, Lavinia and others don't see that meteor there. It had vanished. Lavinia's mother says, thank God. It has disappeared from here. Then, the social media also reaches there. That family watches the news at night. That channel is also declaring it the unidentified flying object. Lavinia's father is calling his wife outside. But she doesn't come. Then, Lavinia's younger brother goes to call her. At that time, she had cut her fingers off. Then, Lavinia's brother immediately calls his father. Lavinia's father makes her sit in the car. He says to his elder son, until we come back, take care of your brother and sister. Next morning, Lavinia is shown. She looks at her younger brother and asks him, "What are you doing?" His brother replies, "I am talking to someone." But the shocking fact was this: there was no one except him. Witnessing it, Lavinia tries her best to contact her father. But she is unable to contact because of the network issue. Then, Lavinia's brother encounters a mysterious animal in the garden. Lavinia is looking for that knife with which her mother cut her fingers. Suddenly, she notices that the whole sink has been filled with water. And the color of that water is red. That sink was overflowing with it. Lavinia begins to vomit seeing it. Then, Ward comes to her house. He asks her, "Are you all right?" Lavinia tells him to go away. Then, Ward observes her younger brother in the garden. He asks him, "What are you doing here?" He tells him, "I am playing with my friend." But there was no one around. Then, Ward goes to that old man's house again. That old man reveals something to Ward here. He tells him, aliens are living underground. That old man hands over Ward a headphone. Some mysterious sounds were coming from it. That old man says, "These mysterious sounds have been coming from the underground for some days. These voices belong to the aliens. They are talking to each other." Then, Ward takes everything trash. So, he moves from there. After it, Lavinia's parents are shown. They were going to their house. Then, they witness a horrible creature in front of them. Its eye color was bright pink. Afterwards, the return home. There, Lavinia's younger brother was sitting alone outside. And that pink light also emitting from there. Lavinia's mother lifts her son from there. Lavinia's father scolds him and his elder brother. "How could you leave your younger brother alone?" Lavinia's father ties the wild animals into a room. When Lavinia's father is taking a shower, then he finds a strange jelly there. He takes it in his hand. After it, he throws it away. That jelly is flowed with the water after being melted. Lavinia's father is watching TV. And he observes the same bright pink color there. At the same time, he notices that his hand has got infected. It may have happened because of that jelly. Lavinia's brothers are outside talking to each other. Lavinia is again shown, she was performing that ritual again. Her brothers come into that room where their father had locked the wild animals. Going there, they notice that those animals have turned horrible compared to their previous looks. And pink gases were emitting from them. So, they both run away. Then, Lavinia's mother catches her younger son. Then, that light pours on Lavinia's mother and her younger brother. Due to this, they both are stuck together. At the same time, Lavinia's father comes there. He says, "We should take them inside." Both the mother and her son's condition was worsening. So, Lavinia's father tells his son to call the police or the doctor immediately. But their call doesn't connect due to the network issue. When Lavinia's father is starting his car in the morning, then that also stops working. Lavinia is along with her brother and mother. She observes that their condition is getting critical. And she senses as mother is perhaps segregating her son from her. Then, Lavinia's father says to his both kids, "The car is not starting. Someone perhaps had made its battery out of order." After some time, Lavinia's father kills those wild animals with his gun. Then, he returns to his house. He tells his both kids to go downstairs. Then, he tries to kill his wife the gun. But he is unable to do as such. When Lavinia and her brother go to tie their horse at night, then they observe that their dog is barking. So, Lavinia and her brother goes to take it. But the pink color was also emitting from there. As a result, Lavinia's elder brother is disappeared. Then, Lavinia's father takes her into a place and locks her in there. Then, Ward is seen. He was moving to their house along with the police. On the other side, Lavinia's mother and younger brother had transformed into a monster. They attack Lavinia. She begins to shout. Ward also hears the sound of her shouting. So, the police enters the room breaking the door. After this, Lavinia's father shoots his wife and son. Because they had turned into monsters. Taking her, Lavinia's father moves downstairs. Now, the police officer thinks that he will also kill Lavinia. So, he shoots Lavinia's father and kills him. Seeing it, Lavinia begins to cry. And she refuses to go with Ward. Then Ward says to her, "Okay. I will come back for you. Stay here." Then, Ward moves to that old man's house with the officer. They find the old man dead there. After some time, that old man's body begins to blast away. The same pink light was emitting from there. So, Ward and the police officer run to their car. But a tree pulls the police officer upward. And it kills him. Then, Ward leaves after taking his gun. And he comes back to Lavinia. As he turns to her, he sees that Lavinia is not looking alright. And her eyes' color had also turned pink. So, Ward moves away and falls down. Then, a pink color emits from Lavinia like a storm. Lavinia is also lost in it. Then, Ward goes to a room. He notices Lavinia's father there. He had been resurrected. He was being able to say his wife, son and Lavinia's voice. After this, he attacks Ward. But Ward somehow manages to escape from him. He locks himself in a room. Then, much brighter pink colors emit. Ward was still locked in that room. Afterwards, the next morning is shown. Ward comes out of that room, and everything had turned into white there. Then, he checks that these is some supernatural power. It did this. And the water of that place is not normal. The person who drinks water from here dies. And he is left alone there. He says, I will never drink this water. And with it, the movie ends here. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to my channel and stay tuned for the upcoming uploads. Thank you for watching.